I'm not gonna sugarcoat it and say I was fine. Because I wasn't. Everything's just kind of this blur, you know? Until you hit the rock bottom. I just thought everyone was against me. I want to be strong for my fans. They're what keeps me going.
One more round of applause for Natasha, guys. Come on, Britney Ever After we're talking about. We're excited. I mean, I asked you back there, but I have to ask you now, how much Britney Spears have you been listening to the past couple months of your life? I mean, it's pumping in here. People are loving it.
Yeah, I would feel guilty not listening to Britney Spears in my car in LA.
Do you have a couple favorite songs that are on repeat, a couple that you like to listen to more than once?
There are so many, but Toxic and Overprotected were the top two.
Those are a couple good ones for sure.
Yeah.
Are you a karaoke person? Would you get in there and sing a couple of those?
I am now.
That's amazing. I mean, we're going to talk about this project plenty, of course. You know, when did you first learn about Britney Spears? Were you pretty conscious about her career from the beginning?
Yeah, I was pretty young when I was a fan of her music. But I would perform catwalks in my bedroom and have a hairbrush microphone pretending to be Britney Spears in the mirror. So I think I had a little bit of practice.
That's some good rehearsal right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Was there a song that you remember that was like the first song that you're really attached to?
Baby One More Time.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That was a good one. That
Yeah.
music video and everything like that?
Yeah, and that was her idea, the music video.
That's crazy.
Which I never knew.
That's the thing, is I feel like we think we know these people and then you learn so much more once you start to dive deep. I mean, how much did you discover once you were looking at her career?
Well, because I was so young when I was a fan of her music, it was all about the music. I didn't know anything about her personal life. So I learned a lot. But one thing I did find interesting about Baby One More Time is that she created that music video. So the film director came on and wanted to do this animated video presenting Britney as a Power Ranger character. And she thought that was ridiculous and said to her mom, "Mom, they're gonna kick me out of the country if I do this." So she came up with the idea of playing this schoolgirl dancing around in a school hallway. And that became the third most popular music video in history.
Yeah, it's so iconic. That's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, you sort of go through her entire career. You go from the beginning all the way to the end, or the present, you know. So I want to get into a little bit about your career. I mean, what's first drove you to acting? When did you start?
I started when I was about 14. I did a couple of years of theatre productions back in Australia, where I'm from. Yeah. And that was my training ground. I loved it. My first play was Romeo and Juliet. And then...
And you played?
Juliet!
There we go. Okay, great.
But it was a big surprise. And then I did my first film back in Australia when I was still in high school, and did TV spots during high school. I got offered Home and Away, but Mum was like, "No, you're not quitting school yet."
Do you remember your first big project that had a camera involved?
It was called Dungoona, the most Australian title
When you say it
ever.
with an Australian accent, I can't even understand what you're saying. Can you slow it down a little bit?
It's probably the point.
I mean, I feel like there's so many Australian actors in Hollywood right now. Do you guys, and it seems like people sort of know each other. Did you cross paths with anybody that we might know of, or?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Aussie clan is very, all the Aussies know each other, especially in LA.
Yeah. So who have you run into, and who are you surprised that is here in Hollywood right now?
Well, Joel Edgerton is an amazing actor, and he's someone I look up to and have known for a few years. And
He's incredible and loving. He's amazing.
Yeah, amazing. And who else is there? Damon Herriman is a good friend, and but yeah, loads.
Amazing. Well, you guys should do a project together. You and Joel, you know, come on. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, you should tell him.
I absolutely will. I absolutely will. So tell me what first brought you to the United States. What made you leave Australia?
It actually was New York where I first came. I did the Atlantic Acting School summer program here. And I stayed here for a year, and then I had a TV show called Camp for NBC that ended up bringing me to LA, and I never left. I've been there for almost 3 years.
And what was it like filming that? I'm sure you had a big cast, obviously, a lot of people to work with. Was that a great experience, learning experience for you?
Yeah, it was awesome. And my character had slight Asperger's, so she basically had no filter. I could say anything I want and get away with it.
That's so fun. And when did you first realize that you had to lose the Australian accent sometimes? I mean, were you always pretty conscious of building up that American accent or the English accent?
Yeah, I started doing training during high school. I would work with a coach after school sometimes and work on my American accent. But I think it's easier for Australians and Brits to put on an American accent because we grow up with American TV, and we're watching it every day after school. It's not like Americans are watching Croc Dundee or Skippy every day.
I watch Croc Dundee a lot, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, where's your Australian accent?
I'm not going to try it right now. Never mind. Okay, you got point proven. Okay. So let me know, what kind of shows were you watching to learn that American accent? Was there anything in particular that you'd always watch?
It was mainly reading a lot of books about it, actually. And, it was just a part of my culture growing up, watching American shows. I guess Friends. Yeah.
That's great. And then you moved here and you got that show. And then, where did it go from there? I mean, what kind of projects were you chasing? What kind of projects were inspiring to you?
I've always been inspired by playing very complex characters who, go through something that challenges their sense of self. But I also love comedy. I'm equally passionate about them both.
And you recently worked with the Coen brothers.
Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about that experience? I mean, it's George Clooney and Channing Tatum. I mean, what was that experience like?
Oh, that was like a dream come true. I mean, I've watched the Coen brothers movies forever, since I can remember. So getting to work with them was amazing. And it was set in the 50s, and I'm very much inspired by the 50s era. So I loved that experience.
Yeah, Hail Caesar. It was incredible. I mean, did you have any interactions with any of the other actors that you'll always remember, or any tips that they gave you?
Yeah, most of my stuff was working with Josh Brolin. But I remember just sitting on set on these little stools in this strange garden in some dilapidated house in Hollywood somewhere. And it was me sitting in between Josh Brolin to my left, Ethan Coen to my right, and Joel Coen just sort of to my other right. And we were all just sitting there hanging out, talking about life. It was so surreal.
That's like stuff for the memoir right there.
It is, it's in there.
I mean, and how did they shoot? Was it a different experience for you? Was it a learning experience for you?
Yeah, well, I'm actually an aspiring filmmaker myself, so...
You did a short, exactly.
I did,
yeah, so let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, well, I wrote and directed a short film that I received government funding for back in Australia when I was a teenager. And I'm hoping to make more films soon. But it was really inspiring to be able to talk about that with Joel Coen, actually. He was really interested in it on set and very helpful. Yeah,
we got a lot of film buffs out there. Any sort of tips that you got from the Coen brothers that you can share with us? Don't share everything, obviously, but what do you remember?
I think what was really inspiring that he said to me was that they started making movies when they were 11 years old, Super 8 movies, and they just never stopped. And I think that's the main thing. No matter what other people say or do, persistence is the main thing, and that's what I always aim to incorporate into my life.
That's amazing. Can you tell me a little bit about getting that role and how you felt when you got that, and being a part of that project, obviously?
Yeah, it was very cool. I got the audition and was so excited because it was set in the 50s, and I'm actually writing a novel set in the 50s about an actress. It's a noir thriller. And in Hail Caesar, I was playing an actress in the 50s, so I thought it was very coincidental. And had the audition, got an email a few days later saying I had a call back, and it's like, oh, great. And I sort of read through the email, and I thought, wait, hang on a sec. Callback, that means directors are in the room. Wait, that's Joel and Ethan Coen. And had a call back, and they were really lovely. They're just very down-to-earth, hardworking, solid guys. And found out I got the part a few days later.
And did you meet Josh Brolin on the set or before? Did you get a little warm-up time with him?
Not really. We just met on the set and went right into it.
That's great. That's amazing. Now, did you expect at any point in your career you'd be playing Britney Spears?
No. If you told me I'd be playing Britney Spears when I was 10 years old, playing her songs in my bedroom, I would have told you you're crazy.
It's so great. I mean, tell me a little bit about how the project came to you.
Well, I received an audition for this movie. Her name was Jenny Jean. There was no script. And again, for some reason, I thought it was set in the 50s. And I was on my way to London to visit family. And I walked into the audition room with all my suitcases in the room. On my way to the airport, did this 23-page audition. Left, got a call 45 minutes later at the airport while I'm checking in from my agent saying, hold up, they loved you. We don't know if you can get on the plane. Just hold on a sec. So sort of awkwardly stood around, check in for a bit, waiting to find out. And I ended up being able to go for a shortened trip. And then got a call a few days later saying, hey, they want to offer you the part. And by the way, it's about Britney Spears.
So that's when you found out. You didn't really know before.
I didn't know.
Yeah.
Her name was Jenny Jean. She was a pop star. I had no idea.
What were those scenes like? Were they more action? Were they dancing? Was there singing included? Had you sung before? Was this a skill that you already had?
Not really, but what really attracted me to this film is that it's about Britney as a person, not just the performer. It's about what happens behind the scenes and when the performance ends, which just really attracted me to doing this role because you go on her emotional journey. So a lot of the scenes were, at different points in her life, like during her rise to fame in her late teens, and then in darker times of her life where it's a bit more of a struggle.
I mean, so then your job is to do a deep dive on Britney Spears. So tell me, what were you doing? Were you watching YouTube videos? Were you watching music videos? Were you watching documentaries? I mean, how'd you do that research?
Well, in London, the minute I found out, I went to so many bookstores and asked all of them if they had anything on Britney Spears. And I found some really useful biographies online that shared a lot about her experiences. And yeah, I obsessed over her YouTube interviews and documentaries. I studied her movements, her facial expressions, her tone of voice, everything. And I had them playing in my earphones on my phone the whole shoot.
That's amazing. Was there any book or any video that was like specifically helpful?
The documentary she did for the record was really helpful. She produced that herself. So it was a very honest portrayal.
Yeah, and when people think of Britney Spears, they think of singing and dancing. So tell me how you started that. Was like a boot camp situation for you?
Yeah, it was a 1-week boot camp, mind you.
You had 1 week to prepare for that? That's incredible.
Yeah, it was nuts.
So tell me a little bit about that process.
Well, there was a lot of dancing involved. And I started talking in her accent right away. So before I went to Vancouver to shoot, I just drove my family and friends crazy speaking in this southern accent. I stayed in accent the whole shoot.
Wow.
I think some of the crew still may not even know I'm Australian.
Until right now.
Till right now. Sorry, guys.
So tell me, was there like a particular phrase that was like the one key into her accent, or the one thing that you would say over and over again to get in there?
Like Britney, bitch.
That's perfect. There we go. So what choreographer did they have you working with, and what was that dance situation like? Were you doing all the dances, or give us a little hint for what we'll be looking forward to?
Yeah, we do a few of her dances, but like I said, what I love about it is that it's going on this emotional journey with her, and it's like we've seen most of her performances. It's about what happens behind the scenes. which I find really exciting. But we did get to do a few of them, and I had a fantastic choreographer, Heather. She was the best. And getting to perform I Can't Get No Satisfaction by the Rolling Stones was the best, because they're my favorite band.
That's amazing. And then as for the singing, was it very intensive? Were you singing by yourself? I mean, what songs were you singing to get ready?
There were a few songs in there. I had some help with that, with a fantastic singer up in Vancouver. Yeah. And yeah.
It's got to be fun to rock out to those songs, though. Can you say that you got tired of them eventually? Was there one song that you were fine listening to over and over again?
Never. I'm still playing them.
That's amazing. And you also have a great cast. It's playing Kevin Federline and Justin. I mean, when did you find out that these guys were playing these roles, and how is it to sort of get to know them in that way, to play these characters?
Yeah, well, we've all become pretty good friends, actually. I had Thanksgiving with Nathan Keys, who plays Justin Timberlake. Yeah. So we all became super tight, and I found out they would be playing their characters, I suppose, once I was up in Vancouver. Wow. Nathan and I had a chemistry read, though, back in LA. Yeah.
Were you guys staying in character, like you said, off scene again still? So you guys playing like Britney and Justin, behind the scenes as well, or?
Well, not properly playing Britney and Justin, but I was definitely staying in accent. Yeah.
And what did you guys do to get ready for some of those monumentous scenes, the stuff that we remember in pop culture? Were you guys studying the tuxedo, the Canadian tuxedo picture, the jeans and everything?
Yeah.
I mean,
we've become Britney, Justin Timberlake experts.
That's so great. So tell me a little bit about what people, for the fans, what they can expect from this movie. I mean, like you said, it's a full picture at her as a person, but I mean, are there some of the moments that we really remember? I mean, I'm sure the Mickey Mouse Club and, the dance with the boa constrictor. Tell us a little bit about that.
Oh my God, don't even mention the python. That was horrible. The python does have an unfortunate cameo. And that was the worst scene to film.
Wow, how long did that take?
Oh, longer than it should have, because I was petrified.
So just like, Nathan, you met the python on the day. You're like, hey, nice to meet you. You'll be draped around my neck.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm from Australia. It's kind of embarrassing that I'd be scared of snakes. I didn't know I'd be so petrified.
Now, did he cause any stops in the production at all, or were you guys pretty good once you got on you?
No, he did. So I did have to wrap him around my shoulders, and there were times when he, I guess, took a liking to my wrist and would put his head against my wrist and slowly crawl up, and I wouldn't want to stop because I just want to get through the scene so I wouldn't have to do it again.
But you had to eventually be like, or would the director be able to tell, like, we got to stop this, she's not comfortable right now?
Yeah, we had to do it a few times, but by the 10th take, me and that python were best friends.
Now, you got to, read some of the script when you were doing the audition. Now, tell me what you thought when you got the full script. I mean, were you surprised at how expansive it was, or the kind of time that they were trying to capture?
I was. It was certainly nerve-wracking when I read it, but exciting at the same time. But what made me feel compelled to do this movie was that it shines a really positive light on her and shows how she's faced these challenges in her life and come through at the end out on top, so strong. And she's not just an incredible performer, but she's also a mom to 2 gorgeous sons. She has a residency in Vegas. She's an incredible human being. So I really felt compelled to tell this story.
Are you going to go to the residency? Are you going to go check her out in Las Vegas, or have you already?
I went.
Oh, that's amazing. How was that?
Mind-blowing. She was absolutely incredible.
Nice.
We went actually just after filming finished, so it was sort of surreal. I was going, that's me? Is that me? But,
now, was it nerve-wracking to know that you're playing somebody who's still alive and who might be able to check out the show? I mean, it's got to be a little worrying.
Yeah, absolutely. It feels like a big responsibility because you're playing someone who means so much to pop culture and is so iconic and has such a loyal fan base. So, you know, you just want to do them justice. But it is always difficult playing someone who's still with us and can view the work that you're doing.
Yeah, and you're obviously a fan yourself, so I'm sure you're concerned about what the fans are going to think too. I mean, how are you going to watch it with them? Are you going to do a live tweet or one of those situations?
Yeah, I think there'll be some sort of live situation. Yeah, I hear Britney's a fan of Lifetime though, so I hope she'll watch.
And the fans, I mean, what can they get excited for, her fans?
Watching like the most epic moments of her life.
Are you going to do like a little watching party with your friends and family, or how's that going to go? It's Saturday, right? So
It's Saturday.
You're ramping up to this. Come on.
Yeah, I'm really excited. We're doing an Aussie film screening back in LA.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So just the friends and family?
Mostly. I mean, extended group of friends.
Now, are you going to take this music with you forever now? Are you going to go take this on tour? I mean, how excited are you? Or are you going to move on to something next? What's next for you?
I think I'll leave Britney to the pop career. But, you know, one thing it has left me with is it's really inspired me to be more honest and strong in the decisions I make in my own life. And I'll carry that with me forever.
That's great. So I guess we have some questions out in the audience. Where are we starting? Yeah, right there.
Hey.
Hey.
So I was wondering if Britney Spears or any of the other people portrayed in the movie had any input in the process of making the film, and did you get to? I guess you didn't get to talk to Britney during the film, but do you plan to, or what do you think she would think of it?
Well, I think she would enjoy it because it shines this positive light on her and, you know, shows what strength she has as a human being. So, you know, in terms of writing the script, I'm not entirely sure what the involvement was, but I know that there was some creative license, you know, with characters that sometimes need to be altered in situations that can't be depicted on a screen.
That's great. Yeah. So next question is right there.
Hi, congratulations on landing such a great role.
Thank you.
Also, I have a question regarding your audition. Could you talk a little bit more about like the exact process? What do you think set you apart? What did you wear, etc.?
Oh, what I
python,
wore.
maybe?
Don't get me started on that. I wore a brown sequin mini dress, which I don't think I've ever worn in real life, but for some reason I felt like this pop star would wear something like that. And I think I was just in the emotional mindset to propel me in the right mood for something dark and intense.
Awesome. So one last question right there.
Hi, how are you?
Hey.
While doing your research on Britney Spears, what was the most fascinating fact you found on her?
I think I found it fascinating that she writes a lot of her own songs and creates a lot of her own music videos. Like, Oops, I Did It Again, that amazing music video on where she's the Queen of Mars. That was completely her idea. And same with Baby One More Time. And I found that really inspiring.
Well, guys, absolutely check out Britney Ever After.
Yeah.
A Saturday on Lifetime. And one more hand for Natasha, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks.